Once upon a time, in a small town nestled in the heart of the countryside, there lived a little boy named Tommy. Tommy was an imaginative child, always lost in his own world of fantastical adventures and make-believe friends. But there was one friend who stood out among the rest, his imaginary friend, Charlie. Charlie was not your typical imaginary friend. He wasn't just a product of Tommy's imagination. He was something more, something darker. Tommy would often talk about Charlie to his parents, describing him as a tall, shadowy figure with glowing red eyes and a sinister smile. But his parents dismissed it as nothing more than the wild imagination of a child. However, as Tommy's friendship with Charlie grew stronger, strange things began to happen around the house. Objects would mysteriously move on their own, strange noises echoed through the halls at night, and Tommy would wake up with unexplained bruises and scratches. His parents grew increasingly concerned but attributed it to Tommy's overactive imagination. One night, as Tommy lay in bed, he heard a faint whisper coming from the dark corners of his room. It was Charlie, beckoning him to come closer. Despite feeling a chill run down his spine, Tommy couldn't resist the call of his friend. He slowly approached the shadowy figure lurking in the darkness. "Tommy, my dear friend," Charlie whispered, his voice sending shivers down Tommy's spine. "I need your help. There are dark forces at work, and only you can stop them." Tommy was both terrified and intrigued. He had always dreamed of going on adventures with his imaginary friend, but he never imagined it would be like this. With Charlie's guidance, Tommy embarked on a journey through the realms of darkness, facing terrifying creatures and ancient evils. But as they delved deeper into the darkness, Tommy began to realize the truth about Charlie. He wasn't just an imaginary friend. He was a malevolent entity feeding off Tommy's innocence and fear. And now, Tommy had unwittingly unleashed him upon the world. Haunted by guilt and fear, Tommy knew he had to stop Charlie before it was too late. With the help of his newfound courage and the love of his family, Tommy confronted Charlie in a final showdown. In a blaze of light and shadow, Tommy banished Charlie back to the depths of the darkness from whence he came. As the dust settled and the shadows dispersed, Tommy realized that Charlie was never truly his friend. He was a manifestation of his own fears and insecurities, a reminder of the dangers that lurked within the depths of his imagination. But Tommy emerged from the ordeal stronger and wiser, with a newfound appreciation for the power of imagination and the importance of facing your fears head-on. And so, Tommy returned to his normal life, leaving behind the darkness and embracing the light. But deep down, he knew that Charlie would always be a part of him, a reminder of the thin line between reality and imagination, between friend and foe. As Tommy grew older, the memories of his harrowing encounter with Charlie faded into the recesses of his mind. He tried to move on with his life, burying himself in schoolwork and extracurricular activities. But no matter how hard he tried to forget, there was always a lingering sense of unease, a shadow that hung over him like a dark cloud. Years passed, and Tommy found himself drawn back to the small town where it all began. He couldn't shake the feeling that there was unfinished business, a lingering darkness that still needed to be confronted. And as he walked the familiar streets, he couldn't help but feel Charlie's presence lurking in the shadows. Determined to finally put an end to the nightmare that had haunted him for so long, Tommy delved into the town's history, searching for answers. What he uncovered sent shivers down his spine, stories of mysterious disappearances, strange occurrences, and whispers of a malevolent force that had plagued the town for generations. Driven by a newfound sense of purpose, Tommy embarked on a quest to uncover the truth behind Charlie's origins and the dark forces that had bound him to the town. With the help of old friends and unlikely allies, he pieced together the puzzle of his past, uncovering long-buried secrets and confronting his deepest fears. But the closer Tommy came to the truth, the more dangerous the journey became. He found himself ensnared in a web of deception and betrayal, with enemies lurking around every corner. And as he delved deeper into the darkness, he began to question his own sanity, wondering if Charlie was truly gone or if he was just a figment of his imagination once again. In a final, desperate bid to save himself and the town he loved, Tommy confronted the source of the darkness, a powerful ancient entity that had been manipulating events from the shadows. With all his strength and courage, Tommy faced his greatest challenge yet, risking everything to banish the darkness once and for all. And as the sun rose over the small town, banishing the shadows and ushering in a new day, Tommy knew that he had finally triumphed over the darkness that had haunted him for so long. Though scars remained, both seen and unseen, Tommy emerged from the ordeal stronger and more resilient than ever before. As he bid farewell to the town that had been his home, Tommy carried with him the lessons he had learned and the memories of the friends he had lost along the way. And though he knew that the darkness would always be a part of him, he also knew that he would never again be consumed by it. For Tommy had faced his fears, confronted his demons, and emerged victorious, a true hero in every sense of the word. And as he set out on the next chapter of his journey, he did so with his head held high and his heart full of hope, knowing that no matter what challenges lay ahead, he would face them with courage and determination. But even as Tommy left the town behind, he couldn't shake the feeling that the darkness still lingered, waiting for its chance to strike again. Despite his best efforts to move on, he found himself haunted by nightmares and visions of Charlie, the memories of their terrifying encounters refusing to fade. Determined to find closure once and for all, Tommy embarked on a journey of self-discovery, seeking out ancient wisdom and esoteric knowledge to help him understand the true nature of the darkness that had plagued him for so long. Along the way, he encountered mystics, shamans, and wise elders who offered cryptic guidance and mysterious rituals to aid him on his quest. But the deeper Tommy delved into the realm of the supernatural, the more he realized that the darkness was not just a force external to himself, it was a part of him, a reflection of his own inner turmoil and unresolved traumas. And as he confronted his past and wrestled with his demons, he began to understand that the only way to truly banish the darkness was to confront it within himself. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Tommy embarked on a journey of inner healing and transformation, facing his deepest fears and embracing the light within. Through meditation, therapy, and spiritual practices, he slowly unraveled the tangled knots of his psyche, untangling the threads of fear and insecurity that had bound him for so long. And as he emerged from the depths of his own soul, Tommy found himself reborn, a beacon of light and hope in a world shrouded in darkness. Though the scars of his past remained, he wore them proudly as badges of honor, reminders of the battles he had fought and the victories he had won. With a newfound sense of purpose and inner peace, Tommy set out to spread his message of healing and redemption to others who were trapped in the grip of darkness. Whether through counseling, teaching, or simply lending a sympathetic ear, he became a guiding light for those who had lost their way, showing them that no matter how deep the darkness may seem, there is always a way out into the light. And as he walked the path of his destiny, Tommy knew that his journey was far from over. But with each step forward, he carried with him the wisdom of the ages and the strength of his own indomitable spirit, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead with courage, compassion, and unwavering determination. As Tommy continued his journey, he encountered others who shared similar experiences with malevolent forces and inner demons. Together, they formed a community of survivors, united by their shared struggles and their commitment to overcoming the darkness that threatened to consume them. Through support groups, online forums, and grassroots activism, they raised awareness about the reality of supernatural phenomena and the importance of mental health care for those affected by it. They lobbied for greater access to resources and support services, advocating for a more compassionate and understanding approach to those who had been touched by darkness. But their efforts also drew the attention of those who sought to exploit the darkness for their own gain. Dark cults and sinister organizations lurked in the shadows, seeking to harness the power of fear and despair for their nefarious purposes. Tommy and his allies found themselves embroiled in a shadowy war against these forces of darkness, fighting to protect themselves and others from their insidious influence. In the midst of this struggle, Tommy discovered that he possessed latent abilities beyond his wildest imagination, a gift bestowed upon him by the very darkness he had fought against for so long. With the guidance of his newfound allies and mentors, he learned to harness these abilities, using them to combat the forces of evil and bring hope to those who had lost their way. But as Tommy's powers grew stronger, so too did the temptations of the darkness. He found himself walking a fine line between light and shadow, torn between the desire to use his abilities for good and the allure of power and vengeance. And as he grappled with his inner demons, he realized that the true battle was not against external forces, but against the darkness within himself. In a moment of clarity, Tommy made a solemn vow to never again let the darkness consume him, to use his powers not as a weapon of destruction, but as a beacon of hope and healing for those in need. And with the support of his friends and allies, he embarked on a new chapter of his journey, determined to forge a brighter future for himself and all who had been touched by the shadows. As he looked out upon the horizon, Tommy knew that the road ahead would be long and treacherous, filled with challenges and uncertainties. But he also knew that as long as he held on to the light within, he would never be truly alone. And with that thought in his heart, he took his first step into the unknown, ready to face whatever adventures awaited him with courage, compassion, and unwavering determination. As Tommy journeyed forward, he encountered trials and tribulations that tested his resolve and strength. Along the way, he found solace in the companionship of his friends and the support of his community, who stood by him through thick and thin. Together, they faced the darkness head-on, confronting their fears and insecurities with unwavering courage and determination. Through their combined efforts, they were able to thwart the plans of the dark cults and sinister organizations that sought to spread chaos and despair. But victory came at a price. Along the way, Tommy and his allies suffered losses, friends fallen in battle, sacrifices made in the name of the greater good. Each loss weighed heavily on Tommy's heart, a constant reminder of the stakes of their struggle and the fragility of life. Despite the challenges and hardships they faced, Tommy never lost sight of his ultimate goal, to bring light and hope to a world shrouded in darkness. And with each victory, he felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination, knowing that their efforts were making a difference, no matter how small. As years passed, Tommy and his allies continued to fight the good fight, spreading their message of hope and healing to all corners of the world. And though the darkness never truly disappeared, they stood strong against it, a beacon of light in a world desperately in need of hope. And so, Tommy's story became legend, a tale of courage, resilience, and the power of the human spirit to overcome even the darkest of shadows. And though he may have started his journey as a mere child with an imaginary friend, he emerged as a true hero, a champion of light in a world besieged by darkness.
Like, subscribe, and click on notifications that will allow you to stay up to date with the news and not miss videos from the channel, where there will be many more horror stories.